Yeah, he did.
On a Sunday morning in late winter, I joined a group of divers from the North Shore Frogmen aboard the cabin cruiser Donna 3 out of Beverly, Massachusetts.
When they got through,
you'll go in through the porthole. Got a couple of faces in the porthole. And then
They were on an outing to explore some shipwrecks in the waters off nearby Cape Ann.
Yep, the blizzard of 78 moved it from 30 feet to 110 feet.
Yeah, the blizzard of 78 was acceptable.
78, we went down for the Coast Guard.
My intent was to take some background video footage for an upcoming documentary. It looked like it would be a rather uneventful trip, or so it seemed. Nobody could have predicted the drama that would unfold in the next few hours.
Just like the old days. I haven't done this in a while.
One of the divers was Dugie Russell. A veteran of hundreds of dives, he hadn't been active lately, and this was to be his first descent in quite a while.
Dugie's probably the foremost authority on the USS New Hampshire. He's been diving since 1958. Many artifacts. Some that people have never seen because he got them right off the bat, and there's so few, and the storms have tore it up so much.
What kind of things does he have?
Well, he's got one of the only belt buckles ever found off the wreck, and in the Civil War, the New York militia crewed that boat, and he found the belt buckle, NY, brass belt buckle in pristine shape, and a real coveted item.
Wow, that's pretty exciting.
Of course, all that foundry work on that boat, once again, was done by Paul Revere's foundry back in the day.
Well, this is a nostalgia trip. No, you gotta hold it up and dry. Yeah, a couple of spaces.
As we left Beverly Harbor, the weather was calm and warm for this time of year, although the water temperature was slightly above freezing. What are the conditions like today?
absolutely perfect. Water temperature's even up.
What's the water temperature?
38 degrees.
Is that about normal for this time of year?
Oh, it was 37 yesterday, 36 last week.
So it's warming up. Dan Herring tells an interesting story.
Dan, what's the story of the U-boat there on your T-shirt?
The U-853 sank off of Rhode Island. It was depth charged by the Coast Guard May 5th, 1945. It's considered to be the last kill of World War II, and actually was sunk after the war ended. Apparently, either the U-boat crewmen didn't get the message that the war was over, or they were fanatical and they just continued to fight on. But the wreck now sits in 135 feet of water. It's a nice dive. It's out in the shipping lanes off of Rhode Island, and there's a lot of entanglement hazards. It is a hazardous wreck. The ordnance is still on board, as well as all 39 crew members. So it is a war grave.
Daryl Findlay plans to try out a new underwater camera.
Like we discussed earlier, we can put that canister in that back PC pocket. We'll take it. Then this will take it. You can zip it. It doesn't close all the way off. You can zip it up as far as it goes.
Todd describes the site of the first dive, Chester, Poland.
It's
just outside of Gloucester Harbor.
Okay.
A mile and a half, maybe?
This little computer.
About 85 feet of water now because it's low tide.
Yep.
Chester Poling sank in 1977.
77, December of 1977.
And a vicious storm. Actually broke in half at the surface, and the bar was out there somewhere in 160 feet of water, 190 feet of water.
Yeah.
So are these good conditions, Doogie?
This is
pristine.
absolutely beautiful. You couldn't be better, except for the cold, of course. What the hell I'm doing here, I don't know.
Gearing up for a dive is a rather involved procedure, very deliberate. The divers help one another.
I would prefer to have it down.
Now, once you're in the water, though, you'll be almost weightless.
I tend to stay heavy. I'm like a crabber. Some people don't like to be overweighted. I like being overweighted.
What's the most important thing when you're gearing up here?
Don't forget
anything.
Don't forget anything like what?
Like your tank.
Yeah, make sure your air's on.
Get done this week.
Check all your seals. You don't want to start flooding out. Gets a little cold down there.
And I'm sure if you get down there and you did something wrong or forgot to take something, there are procedures that you're trained to do to come back up or whatever.
If it's something minor that you can correct, you can get your buddy to correct underwater. You'll do that, or if, something critical is wrong, you're just going to abort the dive. You're just going to come back up. You don't want to be down there doing anything that could, compromise your safety. So, all right.
That's good. All right, flippers and I'm out of here, right behind the house.
Yeah, yellows.
That's why nobody likes to dive with me. I got the pain.
Todd, you got your weights on? Todd.
Yeah, he's got his weights in there. Integrated.
Oh no, he always leaves a harness.
He's got them integrated. You all set with a weight?
What's that?
He was the best. He could take one tank.
No.
Bring it with.
That's an extra
He didn't even need the tank.
inflator hose.
It's back beach and freaking Old Garden Beach and Rockport.
Yeah.
No, we're just in.
The interesting thing about this process is sometimes it goes smoothly and perfectly, and every now and then a strap will be out of place or something will happen, and it's always really good to have some help, and that's why we use the buddy system.
Dave Cunningham is next into the water.
Did you get that? Dive.
Is this the line to the wreck right here?
This is the line right here. We're tied off, right?
You are tied off.
The alpha flag.
Dave gives the signal as they descend to the Chester Poling along the buoy line. Approximately where are we? We're not too far off the land, are we?
Oh, about a little, almost a half a mile off of across the breakwater. Well, this particular wreck, we've got marker buoys on it. We keep it year round.
After a while, Todd is up.
Got a flood warning on the camera. What can happen if this floods, the water can push all the way through here. Oh.
How are the conditions down there?
Beautiful.
Yeah?
Cold? The feet a little chilly. Other than that, not bad at all.
How's
They
it?
won't be down there long, I'll tell you that though. It is cold.
And in short order, the rest of the divers surface.
That signal says he's okay.
All right.
Why are they coming back so soon?
They did 20 minutes.
Yeah, they get well over 20 minutes.
Yeah,
now.
20,
They maybe
25
have
minutes.
22, 24.
I was getting ice crystals while I was down there.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you think? Pretty cool, huh?
Beautiful down there.
Other than the camera malfunction, the poling dive was uneventful, with everything proceeding normally. So we headed off for the USS New Hampshire. This pre-Civil War era ship lies off Manchester at Graves Island in about 40 feet of water at the base of the rocks. With his experience, Dugie lays out a plan for the dive.
A little bit of a swim.
if we can go right in the middle of the island there, right out here, just swim directly into the rocks.
Well, the one good thing, the tide's coming, and so
Yeah, but
that's where we're coming back.
That's where we're gonna do our damage, and I want to get as much time as I can down. So if we could drop there and then swim into the rocks, we're gonna be better off.
Stan, that you're the expert on the New Hampshire.
Well, I don't know about the expert, maybe the oldest.
So tell us about this. Tell us about this wreck. Tell us about the New Hampshire.
Great old wreck. She sank in 1921. She was a burnt-out hulk when she went down, but she was the last of the United States 74-gun battleships, and all the fastenings on her were forged by Paul Revere and Son back in the early 1816s. Back in early 1816, around that area. And when the ship hit the island, it had burnt to the waterline, and when she opened up, when she hit the island, seams would open up, and it just rained spikes and nails and trunnel pins and pools of molten bronze and copper that hit the ocean water. But they were towing it to the Bay of Fundy, and they were going to tow her in on a flood tide. They were going to burn her on a low tide and take $70,000 in those days, which was a lot of money. They were going to take all the copper and bronze fastenings off and sell them for scrap. We didn't need a big ship of that size, so she was put on hold until the Civil War, and then she was used as a store ship down in the Carolinas, and then as a training vessel for the New York Navy militia in New York, where she first caught fire and sunk at the pier. Mulholland Machinery Corporation bought her for $5,000, and in tow, she caught fire out here again and went up against the island and went down, and since became one of the most favorite shipwrecks in the North Shore.
And you've dove down there many, many times. Are you saying?
I just about lived on it, and this is quite a thrill to be back again. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I didn't think I'd ever be doing it again, but
so you're going to show.
Put up with this cold water. I hope to come back with a few trinkets.
Well, the boys
probably when I hit this water, I'll wish I never bumped into these guys. I don't know.
All right.
They've all got dry suits, and I got this little Mickey Mouse wetsuit. So we're gonna go in and see what we can find. And if you see me sitting on the rocks, you know I'm freezing. Come and get me.
Little did we realize how prophetic Doogie's words would turn out to be.
I actually have not been on the New Hampshire before, so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, great.
Should be a nice, easy, relaxed dive, and I'm hoping to have some new beginner luck, bringing up a couple of spikes.
All right. Looks like the visibility is terrific, huh?
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful day to be out here.
See if you can back.
I've done worse.
Do is you can pull this.
I've done better.
Turn around. Tell me when it's snug and you feel good. You feel good? Good. Yeah. Now, right?
Anything else we hit? Yeah.
It's clipped.
Well, he wanted a longer swim.
Your console. Remember this? Is that?
What color is it?
Black.
I'll grab them.
Rocket.
Yeah. Great.
Yes.
All right. Who's going over to the rocks with me? Anybody?
Cunningham will.
Going down to the wreck? I'll go.
You going to the rocks?
I don't know. I was going to check out the timbers and swim
Sure.
over to the rocks.
I'm going to swim over there. I'd like somebody to go with me because it's been a while.
Cunningham will. He's an instructor.
David!
His head's underwater.
David! You want to swim over the rocks with me? Okay, let me get in.
Hey, Aaron, your BC?
Just kind of a waste.
Well,
All right, Doogie.
here I come, baby.
All right.
Okay.
Equipment.
Is this crowbar yours too?
Sometimes prying artifacts from a wreck is a bit involved, so the right tools are needed.
Get it up over your head.
I'm good. I'm heading for the rocks. I'm swimming over.
Dugie's pairing up with Dave Cunningham turned out to be the best decision of the day. So Dan, is this a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon?
It's the best way to spend a Sunday afternoon, even in the wintertime.
I have to admit, I've never seen the water off of these shores this color. It's like almost like the Caribbean.
When you get out in the wintertime, and especially when the islands are all covered with snow, the best part about winter diving is there's no boat traffic. There's virtually no boats at all. How many years you been diving, Jack?
I certified in 64.
Wow.
The weight belt underneath all that mess, right?
This carabiner was upside down. It was hard to get this stuff on.
Eventually, 6 divers went down with the intention to explore the site and perhaps bring back a copper spike, a nail, or some other artifact from the wreckage. In short order, one of the divers, Todd Randall, surfaced excitedly with a little treasure in hand. Got some spikes?
Yeah, nice one.
So this is a spike, copper spike.
Hey, Doc, can you take these? Get some nails.
The old forged nails.
Wow. What are the conditions like down there,
Oh,
Todd?
it's beautiful down there right now.
Yeah?
Absolutely beautiful. Hey, Daryl, I got a question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Can you get my thermos of coffee and dump some in my glove?
Is he serious?
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna hurt you.
Whew. I'll be outside of it.
Huh?
Just dump it right there.
Is it colder here than on the poling?
Oh, yeah.
You want more?
Yeah.
Is this a standard technique? Do you enjoy these trips?
Oh yeah.
What's the most unusual thing you've seen them bring up from the bottom?
My own anchor. What?
Todd was the first diver to return to the boat. Everything seemed normal. Suddenly, we heard shouting and saw that a couple of divers were clinging to the rocks about 100 yards away. One of them was Dugie, and he seemed to be in some distress. The other man was Dave Cunningham, an instructor, and Dugie's diving partner. Almost on cue, the weather had changed dramatically. The wind had kicked up and the seas were choppy.
Everybody just sit tight.
The two divers were in a precarious situation, being pounded and tossed about on the rocks by the swelling waves.
Look, you try to throw it to him.
Yeah.
All right?
Yep.
If you can't, then he can swim over.
I think he's got some of his gear up. That's why I thought I might swim over to him.
I can bring the boat real close.
Closer?
Yeah, I can get closer. Let's get the guys out of the water first.
As Russell tried to swim over to the boat from the rocks, we could see he was exhausted and moving with difficulty.
Todd, give Dugie a hand. Give Dugie a hand.
Captain Courier immediately sprung into action.
Get him over to the boat.
He took command of the situation, barking out instructions from the cockpit over the boat's intercom. Meanwhile, Todd swam back to the rocks to assist Cunningham.
Give him a hand pulling him in, will you?
With a final heave, I helped Findlay pull Dugie out of the water and onto the deck.
Go all the way to the door. Somebody else trying to come up. Hey, listen to me. Come out of the water. Do it kind of quick. Sit tight over there, Todd. Come on, let's get out of the water.
Courier now had to coordinate picking up the other divers, who had begun surfacing.
Come on over. Another guy coming in the boat. Get out of the way of the door. Come on, let's get the next diver in the boat.
We could now see his condition at close hand. He was drained of color, his breathing was very shallow, and he was beginning to shake from the effects of the icy water. Finally, Todd returns with the last diver, Dave Cunningham.
I'm exhausted. How's Dugie? There's an O2 kit right there.
Yep. It is right now.
Yep, it's all close.
And breathe a little oxygen.
Yep.
We're gonna get you warm.
Meanwhile, Todd Randall called to shore for an ambulance to meet us back at the wharf.
Donna 3 off of Manchester, we're inbound to Beverly at Glover Wharf. The Donna 3 is the name of the boat. We're inbound to Beverly to the Glover Wharf, and we're going to need an ambulance for a disabled diver. He's on oxygen right now with an EMT that's on board, but we're probably going to need an ambulance.
Doug Courier raced the boat back to Beverly Harbor. Doogie's diving suit was removed. He was wrapped in warm clothes and blankets and was given oxygen. The entire group of divers all assisted during these crucial moments.
Nice full exhale. Nice slow deep inhale.
There's more blankets in that black bag. I like ours.
Where is actual pants? Looks like there was pants on
They're right here.
Out here is positioning comfort.
Yeah, doing a nice job. Just like be really relaxed. You get your pillow from behind your back or something.
Give some hot coffee as well. In a hypothermia situation,
Despite appearances, Dugie was not out of the woods yet. His condition still had not stabilized.
I'd rather have his legs cold and his core warm. Okay? Yeah, just leave that up. I just don't want to risk. I don't want to risk it just getting that circulation going too fast. Yeah, it wasn't open all the way. Just watching a little fluctuation in the pressure. Still got about 750 psi in here.
He wants to slip. He wants this door open so the ambulance can get him off. Open this door open.
we want to keep him warm.
Inside, under the blankets.
After we tied off at the pier, the EMT crew came aboard and took over.
help each other out. We train and we drill for all these contingencies.
You saved his life by your quick actions. The whole crew did.
Everybody did a fabulous job, and he's warm. He's warmer now, and he's comfortable, and he knows that this could happen to anybody.
The eventual hospital report indicated that Dugie Russell had suffered from overexertion, stress, hypothermia, and panic, but he survived the ordeal. Had it not been for the quick thinking and timely response of his fellow divers, the outcome may have been tragic for Dugie. Their courage and heroic actions saved his life.